Down a long pig alley, everything is in a fog. There is nothing moving anywhere except a hobo dog with his nose stuck in a boiler that's been busted for years. From around the darkened corner, a young cowboy appears. Just got into town, it's the Pike Street Kid. And the dog and him go off together down along the skid. Amelia was a pilot then until she came to land among the barkers and the buskers by the newspaper stand. With everything she owned inside a lowly paper sack, on the road away from where she came and never going back. And when she heard about the hobo dog, heard about the kid, she said, that's where I'm going. And that's just what she did. There's a white horse in the alley neath the watercolor sky. And here comes Father Christmas in the middle of July, attending to the castaways and the winders of creel, as he takes out his harmonica and he blows a little reel. An ode to the clinic that was conjured into view in the back rooms of a tavern on First Avenue. Well, good morning. Starting a little bit early, took a look around, found this spot underneath the Aurora Bridge, Fremont, right by the Troll. Now, the Troll is eating a Volkswagen, because trolls like to eat cars. And me, I'm a guitar player. I like to play guitars. So the guitars and the Volkswagens and the Troll beneath the bridge. Good way to spend a Sunday morning. They're sweeping out the hallway after last night's demise, making way for further escapades, arriving by surprise. Karina with her bootlace and her bundle full of keys. She's the one that you depend on when the locks began to freeze. And the seance and the magic shop, the mongers of delight. Anything is possible, they say, if you look at it right. From out of nowhere, Pagliacci comes to take a bow with a top hat of balloons. You wouldn't recognize him now, juggling a load of empty boxes as he fumbles for his keys, but they slip right through his fingers. He falls cursing to his knees. A little monk comes running with a license to intrude. Hey, watch your language, buddy. God is in a bad mood. No bosses, gods, nor masters, says the Pagliacci clown. He's been in the bookstore, and he couldn't put it down. No angels in the armory, we sacked them years ago. The skies are great democracies for all the winds to blow. And the poor befuddled monk is left to wander in a daze, disappearing in a whimsy that lingers on for days. On the beach below the pilings in the well-pitched camp, there lives Gentleman Jim with his band of trusted tramps, living almost entirely on dumb luck. Still, the gentleman's got enough put aside to buy them a pickup truck, and the sun is shining brightly as down the road they drive, some of the very few to ever get out alive. There's a pig below the clock that tells a fraction of the time. The bricks are made of burgundy and there are no straight lines. As down along the avenue they used to call the skid, you can see the hobo dog, Amelia and the kid, disappearing in the distance where the sunset goes to fall, leaving us to wonder, were they ever here at all? Yes, down along Pig Alley, in among the weathered walls, stairways and the cafes and the flower stalls. In the courtyard by the oyster bar and Angeline's tree, there's a wandering stranger and a ship that went to sea. And I met my love in springtime. I was playing my guitar, and we still go there sometimes to find out where we are. That was called Pig Out. Tony, 18 people. Hey, good morning. And it is a beautiful day here under the Aurora Bridge, right by the troll. The troll is a fabulous audience. The troll never moves, but pays total attention at all times. What was it going to do? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hold on now. Hold on. Got to remember where to... A little bit cold out here. Series of Seattle songs. They're not all going to be Seattle, but a lot of them are. That was, and this is. In this beautiful country in which I'm living, there is a story that's so fine about a woman named Kiki So Blue. How they called her Angeline, Angeline, Kiki So Blue. She was the eldest daughter of Chief Seattle. She watched the world disappear. She said, you can build your town around me. I'm not going anywhere, Angeline. So blue. And it was a fine and expensive wife of Doc Maynard who defined her into something to be owned. When she said, you're much too beautiful for such an ugly name, from now on you will be known as Angeline, not Kiki So Blue. And then they made her illegal. And all of her people and the children threw rocks behind its back. Oh, but Kiki So Blue had some rocks of her own. Yeah, she did. And she threw them back. Angeline, Kiki So Blue. Landlord, landlord, look over your shoulder. Careful who you're talking to. Maybe somebody you stole something from. Come to take it back from you. Angeline, keep your soul blue. So many thieves, for all that they have taken, they leave us with a world full of holes. Oh, but we have rocks. We have heroes, and we will not do what we are told. Angeline, keep your soul blue. Angeline, ah, come on, man. That's right. That's how that goes pretty much. Whoa! Thank you. That's got the sticky stuff on it. Ordinarily, you wouldn't be able to drop it with all the sticky stuff on it, but you know, it's a little colder, and it's going to get colder still. But we're not afraid of the cold. Hard Rock Cafe. Take a long walk down a Hard Rock to the cafe, and a sports car going by under the Aurora Bridge by the troll line. I'm walking around one morning, nice and bright and early, sunny day, and I see a car seat opened all the way. Somebody sleeping on it. No car, just a car seat. You know what I mean? It was covered up with a blanket, one foot sticking out. It was breathing nice and easy, getting a good rest. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning. I was on my way from here to there, so you know, didn't want to wake him up, but I wanted to do something, so I started singing this song. Sleeping on a car seat on a side street. Sleeping on a car seat without a bed sheet. Some cars don't have any seats, some seats don't have any cars. You get tired enough, those street lights look just like stars. Sleeping on a car seat on a side street. Mm-hmm. Now it's a quiet kind of neighborhood. Nothing ever really goes too far. Sunny day in the morning and there you are, sleeping on a car seat on a side street. Sleeping on a car seat without a bed sheet. With 1 foot out and 1 foot in, 1 foot on the prowl. I'd rather be sleeping in a feather bed, but this'll have to do for now. Without a car around it, just right where you found it, sleeping on a car seat. One more. Just like this. Somebody might come along, maybe somebody see your shoe. Somebody might steal your wallet, now what are you gonna do? Sleeping on a car seat on a side street. Sleeping on a car seat without a bed sheet. Black crows talking tree to tree. Days are getting warm, It's a turbulence advisory, yeah, but that's for another kind of storm. Sleeping on a car seat on the side street. One foot out and one foot in. Where you been, my friend? All around the world and back, and here you are in a sleeping sack, without a car around it, just right where you found it, sleeping on a car seat on a side street, sleeping on a mouse running over your shoulder, drone flying over your head, police sitting in a cruiser, ain't no breakfast in bed, sleeping on a car seat on the side street, sleeping on a car seat without a bed sheet. I'm going to do a little bit of tuning here. This is not part of the folk process. The folk process does not involve tuning. But it does obviously involve trolls, school students. All right, hold on now. Oh boy. You don't know me by name, I don't know you too. We're on the same road, my friend. We got some things to do. In the summer of no return, fires lit for the fuse to burn. They killed somebody in the broad daylight. Gonna take a lot of changes to make it right. Pulling the statue down, bells are ringing, statue down, and everybody singing, hey, will you look at that, ain't that a beautiful sight to see. Some songs we used to sing, we don't sing them anymore. Some flags we used to fly, we don't fly them anymore. Architects of a bad design, some old worn out state of mind. Best just to let it go. Can't hold on when the wind begins to blow so hard. Pulling the statues down, bells are ringing, statues down, and everybody's singing, hey, will you look at that, ain't that a beautiful sight to see. And look, there goes Robert E. Lee. And look, there goes Christopher Columbus. And look, there goes Juniper O'Sara. And look, there goes, and look, there goes, and look, there goes. We've been at war before. We know what that does. Sometimes what you stand up for ain't what you thought it was. There's a new day knocking on the old one's door. Can't ignore it anymore. Come on out, take a look to see the way that it's about to be. It ain't if you lose or win, but whose shoes you're standing in. And I know you understand, so come on out and lend me a hand. Pulling the statues down, the bells are ringing, statues down, and everybody's singing, hey, will you look at that? Ain't that a beautiful sight to see? Yeah, we gotta replace him with somebody decent, don't we? Maybe like Geronimo. Maybe like Angela Davis. Maybe like we'll find people, the history's full of them. Pulling the statues down, the bells are ringing, statues down, and everybody's singing, hey, will you look at that? Ain't that a beautiful sight to see? All right. Why do I do that? All right, we'll do this. We'll do this, and that's what we'll do. They told you didn't have anything to say, and you almost believed them, but you spoke out anyway. And when you were old enough to leave them, you went out on the drift, and you found out soon enough that the ties they bound you with were pretty flimsy stuff. And everybody has a story you might not think you do. Find someone to tell it to, and it will come alive. They thought you were for sale, like everybody else was, but you slipped right through their fingers like the wind does, looking for a way out beyond the standard maps. And finally, when you found it, the world began to crack. And everybody has a story you might not think you do. Find someone to tell it to, and it will come alive. Gone out looking for a story, that's what he's doing. You didn't think you had it in you. You thought you were alone, but out among the multitudes now your confidence has grown, and your voice is like a beacon, calling to the ears of those who care to listen through their sorrow and their tears. And everybody has a story you might not think you do. Find someone to tell it to, and it will come alive. because someone holds the reins of the regimental horse, and someone leads the lucky ones out along the concourse. It's within their best interest to keep you weak and small. Your voice is their nemesis, and your story is their downfall. And everybody has a story you might not think you do. Find someone to tell it to, and it will come alive. Yes, everybody has a story you might not think you do. Find someone to tell it to, and it will come alive. It'll come alive. The song goes out to everybody who's had the impact of the climate change over these last few seasons. Fires in California, the rains up in British Columbia, the floods all over the world, really. Oh, there are no words enough to say how a world like this could die away, how reason falls on deaf ears, truth dissolves and disappears, and the clocks are counting down to zero. They warned us years ago. People laughed it off, said, what do they know? And we went our separate ways to find a future facing the end of the line, and the clocks are counting down to zero. Now the weather stumbles, forests burn, past the point of no return. Corporation money thrives, while the refugees look for a place to survive, and the clocks are counting down to zero. History walks the plank. His eyes are flat, his face is blank. The melting ice, the rising sea, a redder sun than used to be, and the clocks are counting down to zero. I know people who live in trees and who chain themselves to machineries, who face the judge's scornful stare. There is no shelter anywhere, and the clocks are counting down to zero. The standing rock, the black snake. In times like these, you do whatever you take, wherever a line is drawn, for the people and the land they live on. And the clocks are counting down to zero. I fear for children I see, and I don't blame them when they look at me as if to say, how could you? We were depending on you. And the clocks are counting down to 0. I woke up in a sweat last night. So all alone I couldn't face my freight. But I took a look around to see millions more just like me. And the clocks are counting down to 0. Resistance goes from hand to hand. For the air, the water, the people, the land. Tomorrow is born from the seeds of today, and we are going that way. And the clocks are counting down to 0. Look out of your window. As far as you can see, this beautiful country is our heredity. The way that we find it, the way we pass it on, the way that we remember. When we have come and gone, there's a fire in the forest. We can't just let it go. And no one can do it for us. This much I've known. There's a fire in the forest. That was a very inventive chorus, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start this song all over again because that was totally weird. Look out of your window. As far as you can see, this beautiful country is our heredity. The way that we find it, the way we pass it on, the way that we remember. When we have come and gone, and there's a fire in the forest, we can't just let it burn. And no one can do it for us. This much I've learned. There's a fire in the forest. Oh, the glory days of our material embrace have given us the destiny. So we now must come to face a monumental crossroads. With no time left to borrow, and the choice we make today will be the world we get tomorrow. Under the fire in the forest, we can't just let it burn. And no one can do it for us. This much I've learned. There's a fire in the forest. Can you drink your water? Can you breathe your air? Is there an unendangered species anywhere? Is there a land unthreatened by this historical machine? Is there a better vision? Can we find it in our dream as a fire in the forest? We can't just let it burn. No one can do it for us. This much I've learned. There's a fire in the forest. Talk about the future. Talk about a million years. Talk about the mothers and the grandchildren. Talk about the cycles, laughter and tears. Talk about the bridge we're building. Don't burn the bridge we're building. Time is running out on us. That's the way it seems to me, with one foot on shaky ground and the other in eternity. We're standing at the threshold. We're opening the door, and either we survive it or we go down like the dinosaur. can't just let it burn. No one can do it for us. This much I've learned. There's a fire in the forest. John the Ball, Louis the Chain, the Excelsior champion, heavy in the brain, Mary the Wand, Sarah the Wasp, name your price, pay your cost to come so high and they go so low, you can see them all at the medicine show. Well, now the one-eyed son played a game of blues with a rusty glass against a pair of shoes. And no one believed a word he said. He lost his head and was sent to bed. Everybody said that he played too slow, and you can't do that at the medicine show. Sweet Junie Innocent came for a treat with her address stamped on the bottom of her feet. When the lights went out, she began to shout. And she never did get out. Now she waits on tables when the lights are low. She's the white wine missus of the medicine show. Yes, and drugs, soul stamp, told his right-hand man, stash it all just as fast as you can. So he brought it all down in a wire cage, left looking funny with his face all changed. He had the eyes of a fish, head of a crow. You gotta be careful at the medicine show. That's right. And now the barman slinks around the telephone booth while you pay for your drinks with your last gold tooth. The man with the hook, he watches the door while the three-legged pickpocket covers the floor. You forget everything you know when you get inside of the medicine show. Now everybody knows it when they pass the door. Some walk for miles not to pass it no more. Some cover their ears, hide their eyes, and break to a run when they hear the cries. Hey, you stranger, don't you know this is the medicine show? Yes, and everybody warned me not to take a drink, but my head just swam. My eyeballs blinked, the room come up and clapped my ears. They filled my hat with silver spears, a bullfrog, a black crow. They paid me well at the medicine show. Yes, they did. They paid me real well, you know what I'm saying? I'm still getting the residuals. Uh-huh. Oh, hi. Troll Knoll. On the board of directors of the Troll Knoll, getting it together. Seeing through the whole of the Troll Knoll, getting it together. Because when it gets kind of cold and the painting starts to crack, you need somebody to come around and put the pieces back. The troll is old. The troll is old. The troll is old and the troll gets cold and there's eyes in that bark. There's eyes in the bark. Yeah, you can't see what I'm looking at, but trust me, there's eyes in the bark over there. This is a very strange place. Troll country. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold on now. How was I doing this? Now you might think that I think that it's all come and gone. And you might think that I think that it's still going strong. But we all know each other, there are no strangers here. So take a seat and sit on it, and grab yourself a beer. Living in the shadows of doom, trying to make it to the moon, not a moment too soon. Now nobody can tell you how the needle threads the eye. You gotta find out for yourself, so go give it a try. And if someone's in your pathway standing, just go walk around. Tangents almost always lead to a better part of town. When you're living in the shadows of doom, trying to make it to the moon, not a moment too soon. Now there are windows to the daylight to keep the darkness out. And there is a kind of baggage you'd be better off without. When I was living dangerous, whatever would I care? I would drink me under the table to see whoever else was there, because I was living in the shadows of doom, trying to make it to the moon, not a moment too soon. And when America went crazy with Georgie's little war, we shut down all the freeways, because that's what they were for. And if there was a shelter, we would be prepared, we would gather there. Because we were living in the shadows of doom, trying to make it to the moon, not a moment too soon. Yes, I still remember Owsley out behind his purple haze, with his vast expanding road maps that went on for days. There were cliffs of eager danger. There were phantoms of design. There was jewelry for the taking. In the caverns of your mind, we were living in the shadows of doom, trying to make it to the moon, not a moment too soon. They tell me Kerouac came by when he was passing through, carved his initials in the woodwork like anyone would do. Now there are books above the tables. You may read them if you choose, as you listen to the reggae, to the Mexico City blues, living in the shadows of doom, trying to make it to the moon, not a moment too soon. Oh, the steamrollers of entropy, they plunder through the town. And if you're old and in the way, well, they just might knock you down. But sometimes that pendulum swings the other way, and you dance and celebrate and fight another day, laughing at the shadows of doom, because you made it to the moon, not a moment too soon. Oh, there always is an ocean when you're standing at the shore. And when the clocks run out of hours, they don't ask for any more. There's nothing so important, you can't hang it from a string. So it's best to just be easy, let the music do its thing when you're living in the shadows of doom. But you made it to the moon, not a moment too soon. That's right. I don't know what time it is either.
Tell them what you're. I just.
It's all the way up there at the top.
It's
there.
all the way up at the top.
Yeah, it's all the way up there at the top, right under the picture. You see there, or somewhere up there. You see the PayPal. This is PayPal me at Folk Punch. Is what that is, and the other one, Venmo, is Jim hyphen page 5, I think, something like that. But all the way up at the top, you see it. I always post it up there. Well, some songs return to the repertoire because they get new meaning as time goes on, and you feel the need to sing them again. And this is one of them. It's called Amadou Diallo. And Amadou Diallo was a young man. He was a student, and he was a young man. He was going home one night to where he lived in New York City, and he was approached by members of the what were they called, the street unit or something like that. They were a special unit looking for street crime and terrorism, you know, that sort of thing. And they were plainclothes, which makes it all the more interesting. And some of them wore T-shirts. They made their own T-shirts, and some of them wore those T-shirts. And the T-shirt said, it was a Hemingway quote, I think. It said, "We own the night," which is not a comforting thought in the hands of a plainclothes police officer. However, that's what they did. And they accosted Amadou Diallo as he was about to get into his apartment building to go home, and they wanted to see his ID, which of course he reached for, and they shot him. They fired 41 rounds altogether. They hit him 19 times. And the story they told was that they feared for their lives. It's amazing how easily frightened these heavily armed police officers are, because they're almost always afraid for their lives, right? He was afraid for his life because he thought that Amadou Diallo was reaching for a weapon. He was reaching for his wallet. He had his wallet in his hand, in fact, and that frightened them. So I wrote a song about it years ago, and it was called Amadou Diallo, and it's still called Amadou Diallo. It's gone through a couple of little lyric changes and a new melody, because the old melody was like, I don't know, I didn't just kind of lost interest in the old one. And the new one goes like this. And, okay, here we go. Amadou Diallo, New York City, shot him 19 times to get away with murder. It ought to be a capital crime after midnight. 4 white cops from the elite corps and Amadou Diallo standing in his own front door. Amadou Diallo, he was a West African man. They said he was suspicious. He had something in his hand. It was his wallet. it was his wallet. They put the trial up in Albany, where the police have my friends. They said it was a big mistake. They'd never let it happen again. His mother crying in a far-off, lonesome place. She came to see justice done. What she got was a slap in the face. Gunslingers walking on the side of the law. Some have got a real short fuse, and that can be a fatal flaw if you fit the description. They might want to see you dance. Amadou Diallo, he never had a chance. If there's a woman in the harbor, she's carrying a burning light, but it's getting hard to see now. There's gonna be a storm tonight. Can't you hear the thunder? Can't you feel that river run? Someone asks a question, someone give an answer. Something's gotta be done. Everybody's talking. There's something on everybody's mind. Amadou Diallo, it ought to be a capital crime. Amadou Diallo. I'll just do a couple more songs for you this afternoon. I hope that's good. I have no idea what time it is or when I started. I know I started early. So I'll do another 20 minutes. I'll do another 20 minutes. I'll go all the way up to noon. That way people that tuned in at 11, because I said I was going to go on at 11, won't feel cheated. Okay. It's my theory that however awful the times might seem, if you look at it certain ways, you can also find beautiful things, and you can find people to love and things to love. And I think it's important to hold those things with you. Speaking for myself. So there are different kinds of songs to sing, and here's one of those. This is a kind of a fictionalized true story. You know what I'm saying. Called Great Big World. I didn't know my father could sing. I never heard a note. He was an engineer with a slide rule and a shop coat. Poetry was not in his nature, nor whimsy his forte. I didn't know my father could sing until I heard him sing one day. He was 91 years old when we were shooting the breeze about the times when people listened to different melodies. And there was one in particular that had a certain kind of swing. He sat up a little straighter in his chair and he began to sing. And there was Lily Marlene and a bicycle built for two. And they moved on down to the orchard town in the light of the mountain view. And sometimes they sang out loud. But when there was no one around, it was a great big world, and it just kept spinning round. You know, funny thing is, back in the day, before all our tables were turned, I was the one trying to sing a song that I just learned. And he was looking at me like I was a fool, and maybe I was. Because I just kept going. And that's what a fool does. And I was yelling at him. And he was yelling at me. And I couldn't hear. And he couldn't see. And I slammed the door. And I was gone. And 50 years later, he's singing me a song. Well, he's gone now, out to where all of us will go, past the walls and the bridges of the goodbye hello. But for the songs and the way I do what I do, I think I understand a little bit better now. This one's for you. And there was Lily Marlene and a bicycle built for two, and they moved on down to the orchard town, and they had a kid or two. And sometimes he sang out loud when there was no one around. It was a great big world, and it just kept spinning round. It was a great big world, and it just kept spinning round. Yeah, okay, I'll just do one more. Okay, the troll. Yeah, thanks to the troll. That troll is so patient and such a good listener. The troll is really a good listener. And thank you, everybody, for dropping by and sticking with the whole thing here. It's cold, but it's warming up. I think I might go for a swim. You know? Okay, what shall I finish with? Hold on now. Hold on. I'm going to finish with this. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Song I wrote a few years back about a famous busker here in Seattle town, whose name was also Jim. And I'll leave you with it. And you know, this is like a busking gig in its way. And you know, my guitar case, my hat, whatever is up there on the thing, you'll see it. Anyway, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. First time I came to Seattle, he was riding in a boxcar. He was a little bit disheveled. He didn't even have his guitar. Vietnam was in the mirror. He was trying to make it fade. Just another lost soul in life's forlorn parade. Next time he came to town, he was wearing a clean pair of pants. He was not alone this time, for life had taken quite a chance. He had a wife and family, children, 1 and 2. He was going to make a go of it, that's what they were going to do. And the wheel goes round, round. Sun goes up and down. And you'll know when it's time to settle down. You see, because sometimes when you see somebody singing on the street out there, you don't know who they are, where they came from, or what they're doing. And this is a story about that. So he wore his best dress and he showed up to work on time. And she got the kids at school and they saved up every dime. They had pancakes with water for supper and cigarettes for tea. And life was good, just the way it ought to be. Yeah, but still there was that edge that just would not blunt. His tongue could be a razor whether he wanted it to or not. They say the truth will set you free, but it'll also get you fired. And that's what he got inspired. And the wheel goes round, round. The sun goes up and down. And you'll know when it's time to settle down. So he took his guitar and he went downtown and he started to sing. And autumn turned into winter and winter turned into spring. And his voice got stronger and the songs began to soar. And he found what he was looking for. And he sang about politics and he sang about love. And there was nothing so low down the song could not rise above. And he sang to make you laugh. And he sang to make you cry. And he sang because the song could not tell a lie. And the wheel goes round, round. The sun goes up and down. And you'll know when it's time to settle down. Then one day America went to war against Iraq. And every nightmare he ever had came back. For every veteran of every foreign war, there just was no sleeping anymore. And when people went out in the streets, he was out there too. He did everything he could think of to do. Sometimes he even thought he could stop it with a song, if he could just get everybody to sing along. Yeah, but history is a cannonball and it just keeps rolling. And you can't unring that bell when that bell starts tolling. And there's only so much that anyone can take. We just didn't know how hard his heart would actually break. And the wheel goes round, round. Sun goes up and down, and you'll know when it's time to settle down. He came a long way from that dirty boxcar to a wife and a family and a song and a guitar. From an anonymous shadow on a downtown street to being somebody that almost anybody would want to meet. Now somebody said, and it's the word of the wise, you can mourn if you have to, but you better organize. Sharpen up your tongue to come out swinging, because you never know when you might have to start singing. And the world goes round and round, the sun goes up and down, and you'll know when it's time to settle down. Yes, the world goes round, round. The sun goes up and down. And you'll know when it's time to settle down. settle down. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. And this, oh, well, there you go. The nose on the troll. Say goodbye to the nose on the troll.